Hi, I'm Scott Wrighton. I serve as Decatur City Manager, and it's our pleasure to bring you updates every week about some aspect, or maybe two, or maybe three, about what's going on in your city government. As you may have seen in media reports, back in January of 2023, the Mayor and City Council enacted a moratorium on the issuance of new video gaming licenses. The Mayor and Council felt very strongly that they needed a moratorium to give them the room, the time, to just sit back and study a little bit what some appropriate measures would be to limit the growth and the number of video gaming licenses going into the future, but still do so without creating an undue burden on the existing business owners who had video gaming and who, quite frankly, relied on it for, in some cases, significant portions of their overall business revenue. So in July, the City Council extended that moratorium through the end of December. I fully expect that the Mayor and Council will finish their work and bring to final adoption an ordinance that relates to video gaming ordinance changes well before the deadline on the second moratorium. As of about right now, there's a projected draft, or what we think is pretty close to the final version of the ordinance, an ordinance to change the liquor code of the City of Decatur, specifically as it relates to video gaming licensing. And that is going to be available, is available on the City of Decatur's website, decaturil.gov. And if you'd like to go there and look at the latest version and what the City Council is suggesting, then you can be more informed about some of that. I expect that it'll be on the City Council's agenda for one of their agenda meetings during the month of October. For example, the ordinance will suggest that, with the exception of clubs and parlors that won't have any restrictions on the amount of gambling that they have, that all the other liquor establishments that are allowed to have video gaming, and not all of them are. I mean, certain types of liquor establishments like packaged liquor stores and theaters and many other venues, convenience stores, aren't allowed to have video gaming anyway. But in the restaurants and the bars that and distilleries that are allowed to have video gaming, they'll be required to have at least 40% of their business revenue come from revenue sources other than video gaming. I believe the City Council is also desirous of having a cap on the number of establishments that have video gaming, and so the latest version has been drafted to include that. The latest version also delineates specifically which categories of licensure of liquor license business are allowed to have video gaming and which ones are not, and so forth. So these are some of the ways that the council tries to find that middle path, if you will, between not coming down too hard on businesses that have come, for whatever reason, to rely, in some cases a great deal, on video gaming for sustaining their local business, but still acknowledge that we don't want to expand video gaming beyond what it has already become. So if you have some questions about that, after you've had a chance to look at that, then please feel free to send those questions or those comments on to my office. The other thing I'd like to talk a little bit about is the city's ongoing commitment to rehabilitating, especially housing, but also other structures, and especially in the urban core areas of the city. This has been a key component, a key strategy of the city's overall objective of trying to improve neighborhood revitalization and neighborhood redevelopment, especially in the urban core. The city has invested in several different kinds of reinvestment. We've provided like small-scale funding for home improvement projects, large-scale funding, other cases where we've taken over a building that's been abandoned or left on the county's tax foreclosure process to rehabilitate it. In fact, there's one in the Johns Hill area where shortly we have finished the rehabilitation and now we're going to be selling it. And so the rehabilitation strategies are all these different stages of progress. And so we realize, as having done this now for a couple of years, that there is no single strategy that's going to be responsible for the gradual turnaround in our neighborhoods. It's a combination of a lot of different strategies. Selective demolition, a key strategy. catalyst projects in certain neighborhoods that are large and visible that will have the effect of spilling over, and people will realize that, okay, I'll go ahead and make an investment in my private property that's near to that, because now I think that there's a reasonable chance that I'll receive return on investment. In other cases, direct investment by the city or some of its financial partners in the form of Dove or Habitat for Humanity or for the Central Illinois Land Bank and other partners that we work with, really too numerous to mention, thankfully, because we can't do it on our own, to do these rehab projects in the urban core. No single one of these strategies is the silver bullet to turning around our neighborhoods, but in the aggregate, I believe that they are starting to make a difference. One small indicator, for example, is that in the Johns Hill neighborhood, crime is down, equalized assessed values are up. Another small indicator is that in the urban core area itself, the number of structures scheduled for demolition or where demolition appears to be the only recourse for certain properties, the number of those is considerably lower than it was just a few short years ago. So I wanted you to know that although we will focus sometimes, and sometimes I'll take time even in these videos to explain the details of one or more of these programs, no one of them by itself is the answer to achieving the mayor and city council's objectives, but in the aggregate, they really are. So I look forward to giving you more information about those in the weeks and months ahead. Thanks for tuning in.